KidLit veteran Alan Katz.
Go.
Hello, awesome, legit KidLit viewers. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Alexis. Sorry about that. Welcome to Legit KidLit, a YouTube series that features the silly side of KidLit authors and illustrators.
Today, we welcome the amazing KidLit veteran Alan Katz. Woo!
Ah!
Nobody told me this was going to be silly. What am I in for? What's happening?
You're in for a lot. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm an author. I've been a writer my entire life. And let's face it, any job you do involves words. So, whether you want to be an astronaut or a doctor or a scientist or a nurse or a plumber, whatever you want to be, you have to be good with words. And I chose to make words my career. I've written for TV shows. I've written for cartoons like Pinkalicious and Goof Troop and series like that. And I've written about 50 books. And books are really my love, both reading them and writing them.
That's amazing. Take Me Out of the Bathtub was constantly being read in our house as my little one was growing up.
Mine too.
I'm sure that's where they came from, right?
Well, it's where they came from. I got to tell you, I was writing funny songs for the Rosie O'Donnell show. Some of the adults will remember the Rosie O'Donnell show. She used to sing funny songs every day, parody songs about things that were going on in the world. And one day at breakfast, my daughter Simone, and this was 20 years ago, my daughter Simone said, "Dad, you write all these funny songs for TV shows. Why not write a funny song for kids?" And I said, "I can do that." And that became Take Me Out of the Bathtub. I wrote it, but she came up with the idea, which proves kids can come up with a good idea at any time. The book is dedicated to her and her brother Andrew, who give me silly dilly songs of love every day. And we've been singing for 20 years. Take Me Out of the Bathtub was the first of 9 silly dilly songbooks, including a potty training songbook, a sports songbook, and even Where Did They Hide My Presents, which are holiday songs.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So Tiffany and I both think silly and books with humor are so important for everyone, but especially kids. Can you make us laugh real quick with a joke?
Can I make you laugh? Well, yeah, I've got a joke for you. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Centipede.
Centipede who?
Centipede on my roof. Another one. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Europe.
Europe who?
No, Europe who. Hey, you wanted silly. Another winter joke. What do you call an old snowman? Water.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll
Perfect.
keep going. It's up to you. But
You
I
could
like
keep
silly.
going.
I like silly, but you know what? I'm not silly all the time. And I'm not recommending the kids only read silly books or only write silly things. Their lives are full of books that take them on amazing adventures and tell them about animals and planets and all that. In fact, I did a poetry book. I did a couple of them, but this one's called Oops. And it's illustrated by the amazing Ed Koren. 100 poems. And my wife is a very gifted, serious poet. In fact, she's a serious journalist. She's a Pulitzer-nominated journalist. And she writes very serious poetry that makes you think and makes you laugh and doesn't make you laugh, makes you think and makes you feel deep feelings. Well, I write poems that are silly. And when I talk to kids at school visits, I say, remember, not all poems are funny, not all poems rhyme, but if you want to write funny rhyming poems, go for it. It's a good use of language. My favorite poem in this book, by the way, is called The Lollipop. Listen carefully to my poem called The Lollipop, the simplest poem you're ever going to hear. Lick, 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 lick. Lick, 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 stick. After all those licks, what do you have left? Just the stick. And Ed Koren drew that. I think you can see that. And I love that. Is that a meaningful poem that's going to change people's lives? No, but let's laugh a little bit.
That's amazing. And isn't it called something when you have the poem and it kind of like makes the picture? I think there's like a certain word for that.
There is. I forget what that's called, but you're right. Yeah, please don't bring up things that I don't know what they're called.
Yes. I don't know either. So
okay.
I'm right there with you.
Then let's call it Fred.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Can you make us laugh with your most embarrassing school memory?
My most embarrassing school memory is actually one that's haunted me for all these years since kindergarten, except it came in handy recently, and I'll tell you why. Back in kindergarten in Mount Vernon, New York, we did a play, and they invited all the parents, and they said, okay, you're going to be the North Wind, and you're going to hold up a sign that says, I'm the North Wind. And I said, fine. And I had a line to remember. It was something like, I'm the North Wind. I will blow cool air, or something like that. Well, they didn't tell me, but the day of the show, all the parents are in the audience backstage. They said, okay, take off your shirt, take off your pants. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, you're going to wear a white t-shirt and you're going to wear your underwear. So there I was in front of all the parents at homeschool in Mount Vernon, basically in my undies, holding up a sign that said, I'm the North Wind. Why did that come into play? Because this past October, I'm proud to say I released a book that I wrote with Dylan Dreyer of the Today Show called Misty the Cloud. There I am right there. And we wrote a book about a cloud who has deep feelings and has to learn to control her emotions. It's the first book in the series. And I said to Dylan, you know, she's a meteorologist on the Today Show, and she is very, very knowledgeable about science. And I said, I don't know science. I know where the clouds are. I can look up and see the clouds. But I said, you know, I have experience with clouds. And I told her that whole story, and we laughed for a while. So I'm glad it was background. You know, everything you experience is something you can write about later. I believe that.
That's so true. I found out the name of the poem, by the way, which I feel like I didn't remember it being called concrete. It says concrete poem or shape poem.
You're right. You're right. Well, now I know that. Ask me again, and we can edit this later, and it'll look like I knew. No, okay. I'm willing to not know stuff. Although I have to tell you, I was a lifeline on Millionaire because my head is crammed with knowledge. Head is crammed with information. And people have asked me to be their lifelines on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Did you get called?
I didn't get called, but I knew the answer. And the person stopped at $500,000 because they said, I better not chance it with the $1 million question. And they had used their phone a friend already. But I would have had the answer. And the next day she said to me, would you have known this answer? And I told her the answer. And she was like, oh no, that's terrible.
Oh no. I think that should be a book too, right there.
There you go. But before Google, I was Google. People used to call me and say, I'm at dinner. Can you remember the name of the TV show that did such and such? In fact, the only fact that I don't know is what you call that poem that it makes a picture. It's the only fact I wouldn't have known. If I were your lifeline, you would have lost big time.
But you know it now.
I know it now.
So I hear you have some videos for us.
I do. I mentioned the Rosie O'Donnell show, and it was a daytime talk show, kind of like Ellen does now. Here's a look at the Rosie O'Donnell show with perhaps her most special guest. Take a look at this.
Back in December, he did a stunning rendition of a holiday classic. Watch this.
There we
Beautiful.
go.
Thank you very much.
You know, people used to stop me on the streets in New York City and say, are you the guy who meows on TV? And I said, well, yeah, actually I am, because they ran that every year. And I always thought they'd say, can I have your autograph? Can I take a picture with you? But they always said the same thing. Why? Why do you do that? I said, I don't know. It's funny. I mean, I don't know it's funny is something I say almost every day to somebody at some point.
The question is, why not? Right?
Exactly. I mean, listen, it's a serious time in life. It's a serious time in the world. But you got to make time for laughter. You just have to make time for laughter. I really believe that. Not to laugh at people. By the way, that's a very important distinction. It is never okay to make a joke that hurts somebody else's feelings. I don't care how funny it is. If 1,000 people are going to laugh and somebody's going to stand there feeling bad, not a joke you tell. It's just not okay. Humor is something that has to be enjoyed and shared by everyone. I think that's an important thing.
Agreed. Beautiful words from Alan Katz, everybody.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite line from one of your books?
You know, I think I do. That's funny you ask. Besides the Lollipop poem, I wrote a book called Ricky Vargas, the Funniest Kid in the World. And there's actually a second book called Ricky Vargas, Born to be Funny. And in describing how funny Ricky is, I'll hold this up. I hope you can see it. It says, Ricky is funny in gym. And the coach says, I told you to put on gym clothes. And Ricky says, oh, I thought you said put on Jim's clothes. Sorry, Jim. And there's poor Jim waiting for his clothes back there. So it's just a use of language. And this was illustrated by an amazing man named Stacy Curtis. I work with a lot of different illustrators, and I am very appreciative of the creativity that illustrators bring to books. You know, when I think about David Catro's work on the Silly Dilly books, or, you know, I did a series called Awesome Achievers. This is technology. I also did one about science. And an illustrator here, Chris Judge, did amazing work to bring these people to life. I tell you about 12 people who invented things that you obviously know about, but I tell you their fascinating story about the invention of the microwave oven or the remote control, things like that. And then there's some humor, not making fun of their inventions, but having fun with the things that I use their inventions for. By the way, he drew me in there. Can you see? I think that's a good illustration of me.
That's amazing.
So
that sounds like a really good book.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I've had fun with that. That's out of my 50 books, those are the only 2 books that have a little bit of nonfiction in them. Otherwise, I'm just up for silliness.
I love it. So what is your overall hope for readers after they read those books?
You know what? I think, I am kind of like a dessert, in the sense that I want you to read the books that are the vegetables and the good stuff for you. You know, if you think about it in terms of read a book that's going to take you on an adventure. Excuse me. Read a book that's going to tell you how to clear your throat. Read a book about something important that makes you smarter, that makes you a better citizen, that gives you insights into inventions or anything like that. And then spend some time with humor. You know, people like Dan Gutman, my buddy Dan Gutman, he is my kid's favorite author. They read funny things from him, but that's not all they read. In fact, I have to tell you a quick story if I can. My twin boys, Nathan only read biographies. Growing up, he would read every biography he could get his hands on. But David really liked Dan Gutman books. And I once read to them and I said, you know, there's never a book I'm going to be able to read to both of you because you like biographies and you like funny. I said, wait a minute, that's an idea for a book series. And I did a series, just came out about a year ago, called Lyographies, the absolutely untrue, totally made up, 100% fake life stories of the world's greatest heroes. Thomas Edison, Amelia Earhart, Babe Ruth. Tanglewood Publishing was kind enough to put them in books. Not a shred of truth in the whole book. When you read the book, Babe Ruth is a ball player, Amelia Earhart is an aviator, and Thomas Edison's an inventor. But I made up everything that happened to them. It's not lying, it's just creativity. And after you read, and hopefully you laugh yourself silly, at the end of the book, there's a chapter that says, okay, now that you know the biography of Babe Ruth, here's some real information about him. Find out more about him by getting another book or go to the library or something else. Don't believe this stuff, but then go find out more about these fascinating subjects. And I love that idea. I mean, I personally love it, and I've read them all because it makes you laugh and then it makes you think. And if we can laugh and think all at the same time, what better is there?
That is so incredibly creative.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. They're very silly. It's like it says Babe Ruth was an interesting man. He would visit kids in the hospital. And while there, he would do unnecessary surgery on them, removing a kidney or a spleen for no good reason. And he was such a generous man that he would then pay a real doctor to put them back. And a reporter once said to him, Babe, isn't it hard removing a kidney or a spleen with no medical training? And Babe said, no, hitting a fastball is hard. Removing a kidney is a piece of cake. And for good measure, he removed the reporter's kidney and had a piece of cake. Did you learn anything? No. Are you laughing? Alexis is laughing. And Tiffany, I think you're holding back a laugh because you're about to say something. But funny is good. Funny, that's my new motto. Funny is good.
I'm crying.
Oh, good.
I'm quite enjoying that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to be like all of your books are gonna be on my shopping cart on Amazon. So
Well, that's very
I'm gonna
cool.
be
Although, you know
spending.
what? If you can, shop at an independent bookstore.
There
Because
you go. Yes.
independent bookstores in your neighborhood need your support. Boy, they are there for us. And, there are also books in the library, by the way. And I think the library is the very best place you can go. Why? Because you can't go to McDonald's and say, "Can I borrow a hamburger?" You can't go to the Gap and say, "Can I borrow some pants?" But you can go to the library and say, "Oh, I like that book. Can I borrow that?" And they say, "Sure, take it, bring it back." And I love that. I really do. Boy, that made
good.
sense. I like saying that. That's really intelligent of me.
That was a really good one.
Really good one. Let me say it again.
That needs to be a poster.
A poster or a bookmark or
a
something.
bookmark. Oh
Good
my
book.
goodness. We're remembering that quote.
Thank you.
All right. So it's time for, we've been having fun, but even more fun. We're going to try some random rapid fire questions where we're going to ask you 30 questions and you answer as many as you can in 5 minutes.
Wow. Okay. That's fun.
You can pass, but you can't make up that question if you pass. So how many do you think you can answer?
Out of 30? Well, if I give short answers, maybe all of them. What is the prize, by the way? Is there a car or a boat or
a bookmark with a brilliant quote by Alan Katz? Yeah.
That's very cool. Could it be a bookmark for ebooks?
It can.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Okay, let's do it then.
We just created something new.
Something new.
All right, you got a timer, Tiffany?
I have a timer.
Oh, it's an official timer thing? Oh my gosh.
Of course. We know how we do things officially over here on Legit KidLit. All right, so I've got my timer. I'm going to start us off now with what author or illustrator would you like to have coffee with?
Well, I mentioned Dan Gutman. I have coffee with him all the time. He is extraordinary. This weekend, I'm having breakfast, actually, with Lauren Tortius, Elise Broach, Tommy Greenwald, and Hans Wilhelm. We have an author group. We get together about once a month, and I'll see them this weekend. So they're the right answer, too.
Oh, can I come?
Wow.
That's not a question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite lunch?
My favorite lunch, I think it's tuna. I'm a big tuna fish eater.
What's the last thing you cooked?
Tuna fish.
Favorite thing to do at recess when you were a kid?
Tuna fish. Oh, no. We didn't have recess when I was a kid. We honestly didn't. We had playtime, but we did not have recess. Although I have to tell you, you might see in the corner over my shoulder is Jerry, my ventriloquist puppet. And every day after lunch when I was a kid, if everybody cleaned up, they got to watch me do a puppet show with Jerry every day. It was an extemporaneous make stuff up every day with Jerry. And it was like a talk show right there in the cafeteria.
Last time you laughed?
Talking to both of you.
Night owl or early bird?
I'm a night owl, but I stay up late working and writing. I like when it's quiet. And I was at my desk till 2 o'clock in the morning last night.
Oh, silliest job you've done or had?
Well, as I said, I've only been a writer and done things with writing, although my dad had a children's shoe store. And I used to be a cashier there after school. And I was the one giving out the Tootsie Pops and the Archie comics. And that was my job, basically, to stand there and give kids Tootsie Pops and comics.
That's fun. What kind of student were you growing up?
I was a really good student. I love learning. I love information. I am an extremely good mathematician, which you wouldn't guess, being a writer. But I know all the numbers, and I love numbers. And I was a good student. I was also, people ask if I was the class clown. I was not the class clown, but I wrote for the class clown. I was the kid who said, and then he or she would get in trouble. So that's listen, that's a good thing to be. It's kind of like writing for a talk show. I'm behind the scenes and I hear the laughter.
Love it.
Favorite silly kids movie?
Favorite silly kids movie? Let's pass on that one. I'm not sure.
Favorite kids book?
Favorite kids book is anything by Dan Gutman. I keep mentioning him, but his books, the My Weird School series, got my kids through, especially especially David, through reading.
Award that you've won?
I'm a 6-time daytime Emmy loser. I've been nominated 6 times, But I've been blessed to win some state awards. I mentioned Oops. That was the Utah Poetry Book of the Year. I've won the North Carolina Book of the Year. I am very grateful for those awards when that happens.
Awesome. What author or illustrator do you wish to work with in the future?
Well, you know what? Nick Brule, and I mentioned him before, the guy who does Bad Kitty. He mostly just does Bad Kitty. He did a book called Boing a few years ago, too. I'd love to work with him. He is an extremely talented, extremely funny, and extremely kind person. And that would be a joy, although we've never talked about it, and I'm sure it'll never happen.
Nick, reach out.
Yeah, Nick's great.
Yeah.
Nick is amazing.
Go a day without coffee or technology?
Technology. I can go weeks without coffee. And by the way, a fascinating fact about Alan Katz, never had a cup of tea. I can't stand the smell of tea. I have never had a cup of tea. Or a pickle, by the way.
Wow. Would you rather sing every time you walked into a room or dance every time you walked into a room?
Neither would be pleasant, but I think sing.
What's your favorite song?
Favorite song is probably Don't Worry, Be Happy. For some reason, that song makes me not worry and it makes me happy. I don't know why, but it does.
Can you sing the chorus for us?
Don't worry, be happy.
Dogs or cats?
Neither. My wife is very, very allergic. And I never had a dog as a kid because my mother was bitten when she was a child. And even though I promised her that the dog I would get in 1975 wouldn't be the dog that bit her in 1926, she wouldn't get a dog. So we don't have either, and I probably never will.
Okay, cookies or pizza?
Pizza.
Is a hot dog a sandwich or a taco?
A sandwich.
Is
These
cereal
are hard. These are tough questions.
We got 3 seconds left. Is cereal soup?
Is what? I heard poop, but you must have said
Pause.
soup, right?
Pause. Is cereal soup?
No, cereal is cereal.
Do we want to keep asking questions? We've got 10 left.
Since yeah, if you're okay with it, I'm okay. I know I didn't win the bookmark.
Like
Sure.
you. Let's pick a couple.
Okay.
So you go ahead next.
All right. Is there a kids movie that has scarred you for life?
No, I don't see horror films. I don't see mysteries. I don't see scary films. So I don't get scarred for life. I don't think so.
What animal, if animals could talk, what one do you think would be the funniest?
Monkey, maybe. I really like monkeys.
Why is sandwich meat round when bread is square?
Oh, that's one of those questions like, why do we park in a driveway and drive on a parkway? It's too long a discussion. I can actually tell you, but this would go way over.
Oh, okay.
I'm a deli
There's
meat
a reason.
expert. No.
All right, one more. What do you think? What noises did dinosaurs make?
How late were you up thinking of these questions? Is really the question.
It was like 1 a.m. Yeah.
Are you suggesting that I'm old enough to know?
No.
I mean, what did they actually? They spoke French,
Good.
which
Okay.
people don't know. So if French is a noise, then they spoke French.
Okay.
By the way, I mentioned facts before, that my head is full of facts.
Yeah.
Here's a fact that you need to know that I don't think many people know. A group of 12 or more cows, just like, bears are in a den and things like that, a group of 12 or more cows. Do you know the answer? What they're called? A
No.
flink, F-L-I-N-K. I thought you needed to know that. I could be wrong, but I thought you needed to know that.
That's
life-changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
And the
was
next
good.
author you have on, the next wonderful author you have on, you'll probably, one of the questions in the speed round is going to be, what's a flink?
yeah.
Good idea.
They won't get the tough questions like the sandwich meat question that is going to haunt me. The movie didn't scar me for life, but that question is going to.
I'm glad that my 1 a.m. staying up,
Yeah,
coming up
really.
with questions was.
Yeah, really.
I Googled it.
That's hilarious. You two are amazing. That's wonderful.
So this is actually our final question.
Uh-oh.
what advice do you want to give all of our young viewers?
Well, I think it's probably book related. It's what I lived by. It's what I hope my kids continue to live by, and they certainly did when they were growing up, which is when you have nothing to do. If there's a book nearby, you have something to do. If there's one of these, and I'm looking for the notebook, but there's a notebook on my desk somewhere. One of these and something to write on, you're an author. You can't be a dentist because nobody's going to let you take out people's teeth and fill their teeth until you have special training and special equipment. But you're ready to be a writer every day. The more you write, the better you write. The more you read, the better you read. The more you read, the better you write. The more you write, the better you read. It's very hard to say, but it's easy to remember. And write about anything. Write about your parents. Write about, places you've gone, dreams you have. That's what I do. I ask myself, what if? And that's how I turn books into series. I'll hold up one more book, but this is brand new. It's the first book in the Elf Academy series. And, everybody talks about the elves and how they make the toys, but this book tells you how they learn to make the toys. And there's a character named Andy. So, I asked myself the what if question. And, I have a picture book coming out next year. My son said 3 words to me before he got on the train. And I wrote a book based on those 3 words. So you never know when something's going to inspire you. Keep your eyes and ears open and take notes, write things down. I believe that.
Well, I feel like we could talk to you for hours. Unfortunately, we don't have the time, but we really, really appreciate you giving us the time today and inspiring us as well and making us laugh. You're wonderful.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. What a joy. Can I end with one joke?
Go for it.
Yes.
Man goes into a bookstore and says, "Hi, I'd like a book by Shakespeare." And the clerk says, "Any particular one?" And the man says, "William."
Thank you for that.
Thank you both. I wish you awesome holidays, good health, and all wonderful things for the new year.
You as well. And to all of our readers, we hope you enjoyed our show and you're inspired to pick up some new and amazing books, especially by Alan Katz. And we'll be back next Sunday with a new author and special guest. I'm Alexis.
I'm Tiffany, and we're signing out.
I'm Alan.
Bye. Bye, Alan.
Bye. Thank you.